Well, a gracious and good afternoon to everybody. This is Randy Case, founder of AFC Vacations, and welcome to our world of travel. I am so happy to be with you guys. I have not been able to get out with this pandemic and do my usual shows, so it's wonderful to be on my third virtual travel show to share some of our great vacations and products. I'm really optimistic. People are getting their vaccinations. My wife and I got it. I think it's opening a whole new door for 2021. To be a great year to take a vacation, especially domestically here in the US and Canada. And that's what I'm going to concentrate on my show today, folks, is to talk to you about our domestic tours, especially our holiday tours. Most of them run the first part of December. These are two of our catalogs you'll see on the picture here. The one on the far right is our last one with the train on it in orange. That's March of 2021. We have another catalog that'll be coming out at the end of April. We're working on it right now, and it'll have some interesting new product in it as well. So here we go, and thanks for joining us. For those of you that are new with AFC, AFC means Affordable First Class, and we've been in business now for 39 years. That's me, a much younger me, located there in San Diego, our first year of 1982. The slide on the right shows me escorting the first trip AFC ever did, a Canadian Rockies trip. What a fun thing. A lot has changed since then. Here's our commitment to wellness. And folks, I want to spend a little bit of time with you on this because during the pandemic, our lives have been topsy-turvy, upside down, and really changed. And AFC has made a commitment to make sure we travel only when it's safe and that when we take out trips, your safety will be number one priority. Therefore, we are working with our vendors, our home pickup companies, airlines, motor coaches, restaurants, hotels to make sure they disinfect, they wipe things down, they filter the air, social distancing, masks, all the stuff you deal with in your day-to-day life, going out to the market or to the doctor. The same thing applies on a trip. And it has to be that way so everybody's safe. Now, these things are loosening up a little bit due to the vaccinations. I understand about 45% of all seniors in this country have gotten 2 shots, which is great. We're on our way, and I'm excited about that. Now, Arlene and I, my wife, pictured in 2020 to Salt Lake City, and we had a great time, felt very safe. And for 2021, we are practicing what we preach. We are going on some trips ourselves. These are personal trips my wife and I are taking. We have a Yosemite Valley that we're taking in June. The Italian Dolomites and Dubrovnik, our European trip, will be in September. And then we're doing the Niagara Falls, Canada trip with my mom in October. So there you go. Again, I'm ready to go for this year and so excited. I got cabin fever like you can't believe. Let's move on to the professionals that make it happen in AFC. You know, service involves people. And we've got, I think, some of the greatest, most patient, knowledgeable people that run this company. In accounting and operations and reservations, you name it, we've got some great people. And that's Joe Sergio on the left, been with us, 23 years. April Silva, the right there in the blue shirt. She does our office manager, and then Delta Guyette in the maroon shirt, and she does our operations and so on. There's me in the center. To the right of me in the blue and white checkered is our president, Matt Kennel, and Matt's doing a great job of running the day-to-day business here at AFC. There's Dave Robertson in sort of the gray long sleeve shirt. He is our air manager. Again, most of these people have been 12 years, 18 years with AFC. I've been truly blessed with a wonderful, loyal staff. We start our tours with home pickup. I think this is a great way to do it. You know, we pioneered this idea 26 years ago. Yep, we were the first company in all of California, first operator to offer the home pickup service to and from the airport as part of your vacation package price. Very proud of that. And we still do that today. So you'll be picked up in a car or a van from your home and taken to and from the airport. That's all included. There's a lot of ways to save money at AFC, and I think you'll really enjoy the next couple of minutes, because who doesn't want to save money, right? Our biggest discount is the one in the middle, and that is the cash early booking discount. Now, what does that mean? That means we will give you between $50 and $350 per person off the trip Our average is 100. If you pay for the deposit by credit card and then pay for the final payment by check. Yep, second payment and final payment by check, and you get a big cash discount. On the left is our single room savings. If you're a solo traveler, you can get an offer with AFC. It's not on every trip and it's not for every single. But anyway, if you're one of the first to sign up, you'll get 50% off the single supplement. And that means a savings of between $300 and $500 a person. What a deal. And then there's other savings as well. Multiple vacations. If you book 2, 3, 4 trips at once, you'll get a discount on each trip. And then if you recruit a friend or refer a friend and they're not in our database to start with on our mailing list, and then they book a trip with us, you'll get a discount and they get a discount. It's a great way if you want to refer, word of mouth is what we've grown so much on, and we want to reward you for spreading the good word about AFC. Here's where the rubber meets the road. These are the tour managers. They're all different in their personalities and how they do things, but I'll tell you, they all have 3 things in common. They're great storytellers, they're great problem solvers, and they're fun. Let's face it, having a vacation with fun is what it's all about. Again, we have our own air department, and Dave takes care of everything for you, the round trip air, the home pickup, again, all of these things, upgrades. If you have friends from somewhere else that want to fly, Dave will figure out the air credit and so on and take care of it. He also gets the boarding passes, and all these things are done through our air department. Again, we have quite a variety of tours. Pretty much anywhere in the world you want to travel to, AFC will have a vacation. And again, we'd love you to join us. We have wonderful meals on the tour, very unique and indicative tours of the area. So if there's a famous restaurant or a famous type of meal, pretty sure we're going to include it on the tour so you can sample that. We use only first-class accommodations. That's 3 and 4 diamond hotels. Some of them are very historic, like the Mackinac Island Grand Hotel, pictured in the upper right. And again, we have a program called Guaranteed Departures. What does that mean? A list of tours right there are guaranteed to go. That means they have at least 20 people on it. In most cases, they probably have 25, and we're guaranteeing them to go. Now, if there's a hurricane or some kind of natural disaster, obviously, we have to cancel it. But if there's something we can't control, then we can't control it. But normally, these things will operate as guaranteed departures. We're also a member of the U.S. Tour Operator Association. Now, that's a very important, actually a very prestigious honor. There are only 62 members of the USTOA out of the thousands of tour operators in this country and travel agents. So we're very, very honored to be a member. And they have a couple of neat things. First of all, they have a $1 million traveler assistance program. And what that means, it's a fund that in case any member was to go bankrupt, you would be refunded your money from this assistance fund, which I think is amazing protection for you. We also have low-cost travel protection, and there's a clause in our protection that has cancel for any reason. And you want to ask Joe or April or Claudia about that when you take a booking with us, because that's a neat feature. And as a special to you for attending today's show, we have some rewards. And if you book a tour with us in the next 10 days, that's by April 9th, we will cut your deposit in half. So instead of paying $350, you'll pay $175 deposit. That's 2 for 1, basically, half deposit. In addition, we'll take $25 per person off the cost of the tour, which is in addition to the early booking discount that you qualify for. Also, if you want to buy your travel protection with us at the time of deposit, we'll take another $20 off. If I keep doing this, I'm going to owe you money at the end of the day. But this is a really nice program that way, and you just have to use a code VTS321. VTS stands for Virtual Travel Show. 321 stands for March of 2021. Here's the people that make it happen. Joe, Claudia, and April can take your reservations Monday through Friday. You can email them to us. You can call us on the 800 number, or you can go on our website and actually set up a tour that way and reserve your spot. So these are 3 different ways you can work with us. And again, it's all about fun. This is one thing I think you'll find with AFC is that we create a very fun experience through the things that we plan. The tour managers, the coach drivers, they're all out to have a fun time on vacation. Now, we get you very involved in the destination. We like to say that you're not just a spectator, you are a participant. In other words, if you want to sit on the bus and look out a window 8 hours a day, you don't want to take our tours. We're going to get you off the bus and involved. We have 5 different cooking schools we use where you'll put on an apron and actually cook a meal in New Orleans or Charleston or Santa Fe. Up in the Napa Wine Valley, we do a food and wine pairing. Look at that, like classroom style with a sommelier that tells you all about this stuff. In the lower right, actually, that's a orchid factory, orchid nursery in Santa Barbara, where we arranged a short little lecture about how to propagate orchids. And then we also had a great time on our programs with hay rides, and we went to a chocolate factory where you made chocolates. We milked cows in Switzerland. I mean, these are all fun things to do. And we always have get-togethers. I like the picture of everybody pointing down. Deb Howard took that, one of our tour managers, over at Plymouth Rock, because this is the 400-year anniversary of the Pilgrims landing at Plymouth Rock. So let's get right into it. I want to cover a lot of our holiday tours. We have 12 programs for 2021. 8 of them are Unpack Once, where you spend 4 nights, 5 days. And almost all of them go the first week of December, so they do not conflict with Christmas or Thanksgiving. All these programs are really fun. People dress up and do a great job of getting in the spirit. And again, our tour managers provide a really fun atmosphere, and there's a lot of group activities on all of our holiday tours. Great meals, of course, wonderful holiday food, and of course, lights and decorations. We really seek out each city's great lights and lobbies and hotels that are decorated beautifully and include them in your program. First tour I'd like to talk about is our Smoky Mountains and Pigeon Forge tour. This is a tour that goes to Tennessee and North Carolina. And again, you unpack once in Pigeon Forge for 4 nights. A lot of fun events on this for sure. And there's a lot of decorations in the town of Pigeon Forge. They really go all out for Christmas. The mansion in the lower left is in North Carolina. It's the Biltmore Estate, built by George Washington Vanderbilt. It's the largest private home in the United States at 52,000 square feet. Over 40 motion pictures have been shot there, and you'll find that it's really decorated to the nines. We also include 2 shows on this program. One is a Western live horse show called Dolly Parton's Dixie Stampede, and the other one is a Christmas show that's right in town there. You'll also see a replica of the Titanic, which we'll visit. It's a 2/3 scale model, and you go inside and you really feel like you're on the Titanic. Next is an Unpack Once New Orleans tour, and we go to the great city that care forgot. It's unlike any other city in the United States. And again, all decorated with lights and so on, and great food for the holiday season, including the New Orleans School of Cooking, which we'll take in. You can see all the lights and everything here. That mansion in the lower left is not an antebellum mansion. It was built in 1920. It's called Longview Mansion and Gardens. And again, it's all decorated. We'll see that. We'll do a river cruise of the Mississippi. We'll go up to the Mississippi plantation called Oak Alley, and we'll have some great meals. One at the Court of Two Sisters, and another one is a very traditional Rumyon meal, which dates back 160 years to the Creoles, and it includes fresh fish and gumbos and wonderful desserts. It's a very nice 5-course meal. I think you'll enjoy that. And of course, our hotel. Wow, what a great location. Right in the French Quarter. It's the Maison du Prix, and you can see it's decorated as well. It's in a quiet area, and it has an interior courtyard, but you're right in the French Quarter where all the action is. San Antonio is a great destination for the holidays. Wonderful mild weather, and we're staying right around on the Riverwalk. And you'll see, of course, the Alamo, and you'll also go up to the Texas Hill Country. And this is what the Riverwalk looks like. The Riverwalk is a horseshoe-shaped waterway, and we have electric boats that go up and down on it, but you'll see all the lights. And there in the lower left is the Alamo lit up with the San Antonio City Christmas tree. And then you'll see lots of other attractions there that are well worthwhile. Our hotel up on the right is the Drury Inn. It's right on the Riverwalk. And then there's the tower that we'll go up in. That's from the 1960s World's Fair. And in the lower right is a movie we'll see about the Alamo called The Price of Freedom. And of course, in the Texas Hill Country, we'll go to the Lyndon Baines Johnson, the LBJ Ranch. He had a lot of meetings there when he was president, but it's actually a working Longhorn ranch. And of course, the lights, and it's such a fun atmosphere there. What a great party town. I call it Texas meets Bourbon Street. Highly recommend this tour. Next, we go to Santa Fe, New Mexico. Santa Fe has been a capital for over 600 years, first for the Spanish, then the Mexicans, and then the Americans. It's still the capital of the state of New Mexico. 19 Pueblo Indians, and we'll see many of their wonderful towns. Again, all kinds of bright colors there, great architecture, wonderful food, and the blankets the Indians make, and so on. And you can see our hotel in the lower left. It's called the Inn of the Governors. It's right downtown, and they really go all out with the Southwest theme and the decorations. We'll go to Taos, which is a short drive, and we'll see the Taos Pueblo. It's been inhabited for over 650 years. And of course, we'll learn about the Indians, all of their costumes and jewelry and pottery and so on. Also, you'll see there the area where the Luminarios are, and that's the little bags of sand. They're brown paper bags with a little candle. They're hand-lit every night. Very big a tradition there in New Mexico. Another great tour, very close, just a 1-hour flight to Phoenix, is the Sedona holiday trip. And this, again, is where you unpack once and you do a bunch of day trips. But you're going to see the Grand Canyon and Montezuma's Castle and beautiful chapel churches there and so on in that area. This is called the Red Rocks part of Arizona. And there are all kinds of interesting formations with the Red Rocks. In the upper right is our wonderful 4-star Hilton Hotel in Sedona. And again, the day trip to the Grand Canyon will be a highlight. There's a great chance that you'll see some smattering of snow on the canyon. Most people haven't seen that. And of course, we'll stop at the El Tovar Hotel. And these are the lights. It's called Red Rock Fantasy, and they really go again all out in Sedona with the lights. And we found some great hotels to have a look at lobbies. So there's really a lot to do there. And in the lower right is called Cathedral Rock, which we'll visit. Now, we also have some big city tours back on the East Coast. We have New York City for a holiday tour, and this includes 2 shows and all of the very, very traditional Christmas and holiday programs and attractions they have there in New York. We'll see the Rockettes, of course, at Radio City Music Hall. We'll go to Rockefeller Center to see the Christmas tree and the ice skating rink, and you can walk up and down Fifth Avenue with the shops and the wonderful window dressings for the holidays. This is Rockefeller Center, and there they have the lighting ceremony. And here you'll see some of the attractions we'll take in, including a Broadway show in Times Square. Our hotel, by the way, is right in Times Square as well. Great location. A new one for this year is Washington, D.C., another big city tour. Washington is said to be the most sightseeable city in the world, and we do a hub and spoke tour there, 5 nights at one hotel and lots of different day trips. So many memorials and great patriotic buildings to see in our nation's capital. I think the highlight of the tour, though, is staying at the beautiful Gaylord National Hotel. It's on the Potomac River, about 3 miles south of Washington, D.C. It's built by the same people that built the Opryland Hotel in Nashville. A giant atrium with buildings in it and glass all around, and again, decorated to the nines for the holidays. Some of the places we'll visit on this tour include Mount Vernon, the Naval Academy in Annapolis, Arlington National Cemetery, where every tomb has a wreath on it, Ford Theater, where Abraham Lincoln was assassinated, and unique is really the Christmas markets. They have, just like Europe does, some Christmas markets. You can visit the stalls and all the arts and crafts that are sold there. Music Cities. What a great, great tour this is. This takes in Branson, Missouri, Memphis, Tennessee, and Nashville, and it chronicles 3 great musics that were discovered and made here in the United States. That is country western music, rock and roll, and the blues. So we'll be going to Branson and seeing two shows, Shoji Tabuchi, and then that's Doug Gabriel. You'll see all the lights there in Branson and fountains as well. We'll visit Little Rock, which is the large picture. That's the picture of Clinton Library. Bill Clinton has the presidential library there in Little Rock because he was the governor of Arkansas. And then when we go to Memphis, we'll learn all about Elvis Presley, the king of rock and roll, because he had a home there called Graceland, which we'll tour. We'll also learn about the blues because they were actually first sung there on Beale Street in Memphis. And then we go to the Opry Lanes Hotel in Nashville. Again, 1 acre under glass, wonderful 72 degrees inside all the time. They spend hundreds of thousands of dollars decorating the area throughout. And two live shows are included on this tour. One is at the Grand Ole Opry, country western music, and the other is at the Opryland Hotel. It's their Christmas dinner show. Savannah and Charleston, we normally do this in the spring, but it's wonderful to go see in the holidays as well, due to the lights and all the special food they have going on. So this tour has 2 nights in Charleston, 2 nights in Savannah, and 2 nights down in the really touristy great city of St. Augustine, Florida. Now, Charleston is one of the great southern cities, and it was, of course, very important for the Civil War. In the lower left, you can see a picture of Fort Sumter, the first shots of the Civil War, and we'll take a cruise out to the fort and have a tour. We'll also visit many antebellum houses and plantations. Next, we'll go on to Savannah. Savannah is located on a river, but it was a great seaport for cotton, the cotton exchange and warehouses. Also, this is where General Sherman in the Civil War ended his march to the sea. Again, great, wonderful food. It's called Low Country Dining, and we'll take that in. And we'll also visit Jekyll Island, which is part of the Golden Isles of Georgia. And there was a resort built here at the turn of the century, and for about 50 years, the richest families in our country would spend their winters here. Names like Rockefeller, Vanderbilt, Goodyear, Macy, Pulitzer, and so on. And we'll have a beautiful lunch at the resort and have a tour of the many cottages that are built around it. And then we'll go to St. Augustine, Florida. It's the city that Henry Flagler built. He built the railroad from New York to Florida, and that used to be his hotel in the upper left. Now it's Flagler College. We'll also see Fort San Marcos, and again, the lights are incredible all around town. Great, great tour. How about the Rose Parade? This is our New Year's program. This is perfect for people from Texas or out of state that want to come and spend 6 days in California over the New Year's. So we're going to have lots of tours included, plus many Rose Parade events. Now, the Rose Parade is the premier event for any kind of parade in our country. It's about 5 miles long. Compare that to Macy's Parade, which is about a mile. And it has all these floats that are decorated in live flowers. Every color you see there is either a rose petal that has been glued onto the form, or it's actually a flower in a little vase of water. Really interesting. We'll stay in Orange County at the Hotel Irvine, and we have a great New Year's party included for you on this. This is a dinner, it's a big band dancing, and it's a full casino as well. A great evening to ring in the year 2022. And of course, we've included other tours during the day. It's not just the Rose Parade. We'll be doing Hollywood and Beverly Hills. We'll do the Nixon Library. We'll do a day trip down to San Diego and visit the Hotel Del Coronado. And in LA, we'll include a prime rib lunch, and that's at Lowry's, a very nice restaurant there in LA. We also have 2 holiday lights tours that are mysteries. We have one that's an international destination and another that's an encore. It's a repeat destination that one was one of our best destinations. We're repeating it, what we've done in the past. To give you an example of what we do on our mystery tours, 8 years ago, we went and did Salt Lake City and Park City, and we included all the lights there at the Mormon Square and so on. And we did a day trip up to Park City. We actually did a sleigh ride, which was a lot of fun. Those aren't people our people on the toboggan know that is the Olympic Center that we visited. And then we came back, and at the Mormon Tabernacle, we saw a great performance of the symphony and the choir. What a wonderful tour that was. A lot of holiday lights. Now, our regular Encore mystery tours, again, we've done over 43 of these mystery tours in our 9 years of doing them. And we have 2 that are the best we've ever done. We're repeating them. And so you really, if you're leery about the mystery tour concept, you should take these 2 tours first, or one of these, because these are 2 of our best that we've ever done. And we have new destinations as well for next year, or this year, I should say, and you can see them listed here. Some of the mystery tours we've done in the past are regular mystery tours. We did Minneapolis and St. Paul one year. We did West Virginia. AFC had never been to West Virginia, and we did a train trip down the New River Valley in the fall with the colors. And in the lower right, we had lunch at the very famous Greenbrier Resort, which is a 5-diamond hotel. We went to Spokane and stayed at the Davenport Hotel for 4 nights. That's it pictured in the upper left. That's the lobby area. And we did a day trip to Coeur d'Alene with a lake cruise and so on. Bing Crosby is an alumnus of Gonzaga University, which is there in Spokane, and they have a museum for him. The Amish country, most people think of the one in Pennsylvania, but Indiana has a great Amish country, and we go through that area, the home of the Mennonites and the Amish, and we go to Notre Dame University, and that mansion in the lower right is of Mr. Studebaker, who made cars in Indiana for many years. We did Madison, Wisconsin. What a sleeper this was. People really enjoyed this tour. Fantastic. Madison is between 2 lakes. It's the capital of Wisconsin. Has a lot of Frank Lloyd Wright homes nearby. We did a cruise of the Wisconsin Dells. What a great tour. And this was, again, another sleeper that really people loved. They go, why are we going to Pella, Iowa? Well, Pella, Iowa has a wonderful tulip festival in May, which we included. The covered bridge was the inspiration for the book and the movie, The Covered Bridges of Madison County. John Wayne is from Iowa. He was born Marion Morrison. There's a museum for him there. Talk about the San Antonio Fiesta. I just wanted to mention that they've moved the Fiesta from its normal spot in April to June. And our tour is guaranteed for June of this year. We already have 28 people on it. So if you want to get away to a world-class fiesta that's been going on for over 100 years, please join us on the San Antonio Fiesta Tour. We still have room. Our best-selling tour of all is our combination of Niagara Falls and the Grand Hotel. No other tour operator does this. We have 2 great destinations in one tour. So again, you'll be going into Detroit first, which is the home, of course, of the Ford Motor Company. And Henry Ford made over 1 million Model Ts, and you can have any color you want as long as it was black. And we'll visit his 2 museums there and his Ford F-150 truck factory as well. Then we go on to the Grand Hotel. It's up on Mackinac Island. No cars are allowed there, so we have to take a ferry over, about a 40-minute ferry ride. And then we stay the 2 nights at the Grand Hotel, which is beautifully decorated. Notice the downtown area, just horse-drawn carriages and bikes, again, no cars. And you really enjoy the decorations there. We include dinner and breakfast each day. And you dress to the nines, really, because it's a 5-course meal. There's big band dancing afterwards. Again, a great go back in time is what it is. Go back to the turn of the century when you go to this hotel. And if you go with us in May, that will be tulips. And if you go with us in October, that'll be fall colors. We also stop on this tour at a small town in Michigan that's a Bavarian theme. It's called Frankenmuth, and it has one of the largest Christmas stores in the world. And believe me, it's the size of a Costco, made of every Christmas decoration you could ever think of. And then in Niagara Falls, really enjoy all the highlights there. We do have an option that's the barrel over the falls, so you may want to talk to the tour manager about that. But we stay at a wonderful hotel overlooking the falls, and we're on the Canadian side. All the attractions are really there to see, so you'll need your passport on this tour. But you can see all the things to do and see there, including the Maid of the Mist boat ride. Let's talk about Great Trains and Grand Canyons. This is, again, another wonderful tour, a very short flight to Phoenix from California. and then 5 nights in Sedona. Sedona is your hub, and you do a lot of spokes or day trips going out in all directions. Lots to see and do on this. Again, we're staying at the Hilton Hotel. This is very similar to the Sedona trip we do at the holidays. Halakapaki is a Guadalajara-inspired shopping center that's right there, and it's all outdoors. We'll go to Montezuma's Castle, which was built not by Montezuma, but by the ancient Indians. We'll go to Jerome, which is an old gold mining town, and we'll do a Western barbecue cookout with a Western show. And again, you can go to Grand Canyon, that's included. And there's 2 train rides on this program, one going to and from the Grand Canyon, and another one going through the Verde Valley. Speaking of Canyonlands, here's a tour that nobody else does. We're going to Canyon de Chelly in the Mesa Verde. Canyon de Chelly is on the Navajo Indian Territory, and it's really hard to get to, so that's why people love this trip. We fly into Albuquerque, and we do a circle through the Four Corners area. It's Utah, Colorado, Arizona, and New Mexico. And we'll stop off and learn about the Pueblo Indians. This is one of their active pueblos called Sky City or Acoma. And then we'll go on to the Petrified Forest National Park and the Painted Desert. Those are all included. We'll go to the oldest continuously running Indian trading post in the United States. It's called Hubble's. And I think you'll really like this one. The Navajo bring all their rugs and things in there to sell. Route 66 runs from Chicago to California, Los Angeles, and we'll be on and off Route 66 many times on this tour. This is Canyon de Chelly, and basically you'll be up on the rim taking views from the observation areas. It really is 3 canyons that come together. And in the upper left, you'll see a vertical rock, 630 feet, that's Spider Rock. But what's really fun is to take the 4-wheel drive trucks, and that's what we do. There is no roads down below. We go right on the river and drive along and see cliff dwellings. This is a great way to see it. 2 nights there in Canyon de Chelly at the Thunderbird Lodge, which is very historic. And then we'll visit Mesa Verde, which has the largest number of cliff dwellings in the world for the Indians. Many of these were made by the ancient ones, the Anasazi. And we end our tour by visiting Durango, an old Western town. And we have dinner there as well as look around at the interesting buildings. Now, Chris McCool, one of our tour managers, and I put together what we call the Ultimate Canyonlands Tour. If you want to go to this Canyonlands area of Utah and Arizona, this is the tour to take. It's 9 days. It's a circle out of Las Vegas, and you'll see 6 national parks and 6 state parks. We'll start by going to Zion, and what a great way to go. You're on the valley floor looking up 2,000 feet straight up this vertical sandstone rock. This is the Temple of Sinawava there on the upper part of the picture. And then, of course, many of the great hotels we use on this tour that have wonderful views. On this picture, you'll see Bryce Canyon in the lower right, which we visit. That's a national park. Canyonlands National Park, where the Green and Colorado River come together. And a slot canyon as well, where you see that man standing there in a canyon that's been carved by swirling water and rocks. And we'll visit the Capitol Reef National Park, Goblin Valley, and also Pink Sand Dunes, and that's a state park. Arches National Park's one of the highlights, and we'll spend many hours looking at over 300 of these natural rock arches. And then everybody has actually heard of Monument Valley. It was made famous by the Westerns from John Wayne and John Ford. They shot 9 pictures there, including She Wore a Yellow Ribbon, Fort Apache, and Stagecoach. We'll stop at Lake Powell and we'll take a wonderful tour there and do a cruise of Antelope Canyon. And again, we'll visit the north rim of the Grand Canyon, one of the highlights of the trip. You know, 90% of the visitors go to the south rim and we go to the north rim. And so you get a whole different perspective of this great natural feature, the Grand Canyon. In the upper right, I'm really proud of this particular picture. 3 generations of one family on an AFC trip. That's the mother, the daughter, and the grandson. New Mexico Balloon Fiesta. What a great event this is. This is one of the top 5 live events anywhere in the United States and Canada. It should be high on your list of tours to take, and AFC does it great. We fly into Albuquerque, and we have just 2 hotels on this tour, 3 nights in Santa Fe and 2 nights in Albuquerque. So it's a lot more than just the balloon fiesta. And Santa Fe has a great amount of sightseeing and history there. Again, over 600 years of history. And we'll go to the School of Cooking, and in the lower left, again, our wonderful Southwest decorated hotel. That's the Inn of the Governors. In the 19 different tribes, we'll visit many of them, including the Taos Pueblo, and we'll learn about their beautiful silver and turquoise jewelry and their handmade pottery and costumes. We go in October, which is when the 10-day balloon festival is happening, and we'll see a lot of the beautiful yellow trees, the aspens and the cottonwoods. And we go to another pueblo as well called Acoma, which means Sky City. You can see a picture of that in the lower left. It's a pueblo built on top of a mesa. And the balloon fiesta is the highlight, and they have a mass ascension every day, up to 800 hot air balloons going up early in the morning, which is the best time for ballooning. We go to the Special Shapes Mass Ascension, 400 balloons, but they're all interesting shapes, and they're not just the round ones. Black Hills and the Badlands. This is an Unpack Once tour in the summer. What a great time to go. 6 days at nights at one hotel, and again, lots of day trips. So you fly into Rapid City and you spend your time there in South Dakota. And we'll be going to Mount Rushmore, the Crazy Horse Memorial, which they are working on now. And we'll learn about Devil's Tower as well on your right-hand side. Close Encounters of the Third Kind. Remember that Steven Spielberg movie, which Richard Dreyfuss was in it? That was shot there. We'll go to the Badlands and to Wall Drug. And we'll also learn about the buffalo there at Custer State Park. We'll go on these 4-wheel drive Jeeps that go on and off the road. And they have hundreds of bison there. We'll go on an antique train that dates back to 1850, and our hotel is great. It's the Mount Rushmore Holiday Inn, kind of like a Embassy Suites with the giant atrium lobby. And the picture in the center is of Black Hills Gold, which we'll see a lot of different shops there. And here you'll see all the different Western things we'll look at. We'll go to a Mustang Horse Ranch. We'll learn about Kevin Costner, the director and writer of a great movie called Dances with Wolves. And we'll go to a Chuck Wagon barbecue with Western entertainment. Our best-selling summer tour is Yellowstone and Mount Rushmore, which takes in a lot of the Rapid City, Mount Rushmore area, but also goes through Wyoming, Idaho, and Utah. And this tour takes in Yellowstone, the oldest national park in the world. Mount Rushmore has 4 of our greatest presidents, and they're enshrined in the granite up there at the Black Hills of South Dakota. And below it, you'll see the Crazy Horse Memorial, and they're still working on that one. The face is done. By the way, that face is 90 feet high. Any one of you could stand up in the eyeball of Crazy Horse. He was a Sioux chief. He was the one who defeated Custer at Custer's last day. This is the behind-the-scenes tour. A lot of people don't include this of Mount Rushmore, but we're very famous for our behind-the-scenes tours. Buffalo Bill Cody, I tell you, he has a town named after himself, Cody, Wyoming, and I think the greatest Western museum in the world. We'll spend 3 hours there, and you'll need every minute of it. And this is the oldest national park, Yellowstone, set aside right after the Civil War in 1872. And you'll see why it's called Yellowstone. There's the Yellowstone Valley and the Yellow Rock. In addition, you'll see so many other great geologic features there. The limestone terraces at Mammoth, the Morning Glory Pool. You'll see what's called a traffic jam in Yellowstone. That's where the bison or buffalo cross the road. And we'll see Old Faithful Geyser and hotel there. We also visit the Grand Tetons, which are located there just south of Yellowstone, and that's where the Snake River goes through. And we'll end our tour over in Salt Lake City at Mormon Plaza, Temple Square. Great, great tour. Our tours are leisurely paced. We spend time to stop at different places, especially just to get out and walk and have a look at nature. So, you know, our tours average from 8:30 to 4:30 or 9 to 5. U.S. and Canadian parks, another real great national park tour in the summertime. You fly into Spokane and you do a 9-day circle. Every day of this tour, you are looking at or in the mountains. You'll be crossing the Continental Divide 3 times. You'll be crossing the Columbia River 4 times. You'll go to Radiant Hot Springs. Make sure you bring your suit because we pay for admission. And when you go into the water, if you're 75 years old, you come out 54. What a bargain. We'll also visit the Chateau Lake Louise in the upper left and have lunch there. We'll go to the town of Banff and we'll see Moraine Lake. So many great features. If you can't go to Switzerland, folks, you should go to the Canadian Rockies. What a beautiful sight. This is an actual glacier in the Canadian Rockies called the Athabasca Glacier. And we'll go on the Icefields Parkway, an extremely scenic road. Rand McNally, the map people, called it one of the 5 most scenic highways in the world. We'll stop at that red chalet. A bus will take us up the moraine, and then we'll get on one of these ice trackers. Now, this is included in the tour. A lot of other companies will charge you an optional fee of $130 to go on this. It's included with AFC. We'll go to Glacier Park and go on the Going to the Sun Highway. We'll visit a working silver mine. The Going to the Sun Highway is too narrow and fragile for the big 12-ton motor coaches. So we'll go in these little red jammer cars, and they hold about 18 people, and the top rolls down, and you can take pictures. We stay right there in the park at the Many Glacier Lodge, and we'll spend the night there. Here's some people having a great time on our tour. Idaho Adventure. We're the only tour operator that spends a whole week in Idaho. Idaho isn't an afterthought. It's the whole tour of AFC. 2 nights in Coeur d'Alene, 2 nights in a little town called Riggins, and 2 nights in the very famous ski area of Sun Valley. Now, Coeur d'Alene has a wonderful resort. It's really the only hotel to stay in. And we're guaranteed to stay in the tower rooms overlooking the lake. Also, the lupin will be blooming, the beautiful purple flowers, and we'll learn about the salmon and the Snake River, 2 great float trips and rafting rivers. This is what you're going to see. If you want to see the West at its best, where it's not developed and it's been that way for hundreds of years. Here's our hotel in the upper left in Riggins called the Salmon Rapids Lodge. Only 90 rooms. We check up about 1/3 of the hotel when our group comes in. And we include the jet boat ride, which you can see in the lower right on the Salmon River. We'll learn about Lewis and Clark, and then also in the lower right, the Smoke Jumper School, where people learn how to fight fires where there's no roads. They jump out of a plane and go behind the scenes, kind of like the Hot Shots do when they fight forest fires. And Sun Valley, Idaho was made famous by a movie with Sonia Henney and John Payne, Sun Valley Serenade. Glenn Miller did the music. And we stay at this very historic hotel. Also, you'll see in the upper left, the man with the mustache. That's Ernest Hemingway. Unfortunately, he committed suicide there in Sun Valley, at a little town called Ketchum, and he's buried there. Colorado Rails and National Parks. Again, a great tour for our Texas customers because you're up in Colorado where it's so much cooler than Texas that time of year in the summer. So it's a great getaway, and it has 2 wonderful train trips and 2 national parks. These are old Puffin Billies, and you'll go on 2 of them, and they really are very traditional and a lot of fun. We'll also visit Arches National Park and the town of Vail and the town of Grand Junction with Colorado National Monument. These are all wonderful, wonderful national park, national monument kind of destinations. We'll also go to the Mesa Verde, and we'll go to Denver on this trip, and the Garden of the Gods in Colorado Springs. These are, again, all great highlights of this tour. Let's just turn our attention quickly here to fall foliage, which is the biggest season for any tour operator. We always say in San Diego we have 2 seasons, summer and next summer. It's kind of a joke, but it's nice to go back east and see the beautiful changing of the colors of the trees. How about Cape Cod and the islands? This is where you have 1 night in Boston and then 5 nights on Cape Cod with lots of great day trips. Again, this is what you'll see on the tour. Nantucket, Martha's Vineyard. You'll learn a lot about John F. Kennedy since he was a senator there from Massachusetts, and the Kennedy compound's located in Hyannis. You'll do a trip in Boston with a sightseeing tour. You'll also visit where you see that square rigger ship. That is the Mayflower, the Pilgrim ship in Plymouth. And we'll visit many of the mansions there along the Coast Drive in Newport, these beautiful summer mansions, the mansions of the richest and famous people of our country. Plymouth is 400 years old now, as I mentioned. 400 years ago was the landing at Plymouth Rock, and we'll spend time there. We'll also go over to Martha's Vineyard, which was used by Steven Spielberg as the backdrop for his movie Jaws and the Great Shark. We take the ferry over, and the bus goes right with us, and we do a sightseeing tour all around the island, including Edgartown and Vineyard Haven and so on. And we'll have a beautiful lunch there. It's just a really nice location. Then we go over to Nantucket. Now, Nantucket's only about 8 miles from Martha's Vineyard, but it's a world of difference. It's a smaller island. The ferry is a fast cat. The bus does not go with us. We use a school bus to do our touring. And Nantucket is an old whaling town, dates back to colonial times. But the whales, they have a whaling museum there and so on. Whales were used for their oil, and this is before kerosene and electricity, and oil was used to light the evenings. And we have a lobster meal included, also cranberries. This is where Ocean Spray Cranberry Juice is headquartered. They make all those wonderful juices with cranberries. One of those, I think, goes to Canada. It's called Great Canadian Cities and Niagara Falls. We have a train trip on this as well, where you'll take the 2.5-hour train, the Via Rail it's called, from Montreal to Quebec City. We start in Montreal, which was the home of the Olympics in 1976, the Summer Games. You'll see a picture of those facilities in the upper right. And beautiful fall colors. What a great town of Montreal. It means Mount Royal. It's built around a mountain. And then we go to the oldest city in Canada. It's founded in 1608. It's Quebec City. It's the only walled city in North America. You can see one of the gates in the lower left there. And the castle-style hotel is the famous Chateau Frontenac. The capital is Ottawa of Canada, and they have a lot of Gothic buildings and many museums, just like our Washington, D.C. The Thousand Island area of the St. Lawrence River is actually the home of the Thousand Island dressing. It's also home for over 2,000 islands, and we'll cruise around those islands, and we'll see a castle as well. The foliage is beautiful. On to the largest city in Canada, Toronto, and we'll spend a couple of nights there. I think you'll enjoy that very much. We'll go to the top of the CN Tower, and for some extra money, they'll hook you in a harness, and you can go right to the edge and look straight down. No, thank you. And we end our tour in Niagara Falls, again, the Canadian side, and we have a great hotel. And in the upper left, you can see the journey behind the falls. We go down an elevator and through a tunnel, and you come out right at the base of the Horseshoe Falls. A new tour we have, and Deb Howard will be leading this, is the Coastal Maine Lighthouses and Landscapes. And Deb has had a family cottage in Maine for her entire life, and she spent so much time up there. So you fly into Portland, and you spend, Boston, and you spend 5 nights in Kennebunkport. Up in the upper right picture, you'll see what's called a lobster roll. Imagine a hot dog without the meat. Instead, you have all this tender lobster meat put in it instead. We're going to visit Boston and do the Freedom Trail, but we're also going to tour the oldest baseball park in the United States, built in 1912. That's Fenway Park, home of the Boston Red Sox. Then in the upper right, you'll see the hotel we have in Kennebunkport. And this is the Nonanum Lodge right on the water. What a great place to stay. We'll learn all about lighthouses. We'll have a lobster meal. We'll learn how they do lobster trap and fish for the lobsters as we go out on a lobster boat. In the lower left is actually a chocolate factory we go to, and that's Lenny, the life-size model in chocolate of a moose. Amazing. And again, a train trip in New Hampshire, which is a lot of fun, and some wonderful drives along the mountains of New Hampshire and Maine. We'll also go to a sugar shack where they make maple syrup. This is a very exclusive tour that AFC has. Deb Howard has led this for the last 5 years. It's called the Brandywine and the Poconos, and it goes to eastern Pennsylvania with 4 nights in the Brandywine Valley and 2 nights in the Pocono Mountains. And we're going to learn a lot about the DuPont family, because they actually came from France. There were 5 brothers, and they settled in the Brandywine Valley, and they made their money by discovering, believe it or not, smokeless gunpowder. Later on, they became the chemical juggernaut they are today. This is one of the homes we'll visit called Demures, and it was built by Pierre DuPont. This is an interesting stop. This is the first cable network designed just for shopping. QVC stands for quality, value, and convenience. We'll go to their studios and warehouse. Another DuPont mansion is called Longwood, which is known for its gardens. And we'll go to the sweetest spot in the United States, Milton Hershey's, Hershey, Pennsylvania, where they make the chocolates. And we'll do some chocolate tasting where you can try to figure out a blind taste test what is Swiss, Belgium, or US chocolate. The Amish country will be our destination in the late afternoon. We'll have a tour and then a wonderful dinner there. And we'll visit Philadelphia as well, the city of brotherly love. And at Independence Hall, we'll tour through that building. Believe it or not, that's where the Declaration of Independence, the Constitution, and the Bill of Rights were all signed, 3 pillars of our democracy. We'll also have lunch there at a very old and traditional tavern, City Tavern, same place where Ben Franklin, Thomas Jefferson, and George Washington ate. On the way up to the Poconos, we'll visit Martin Guitars, and they're considered the world famous builder of acoustic guitars, not electric, acoustic. And then the fall colors, again, tradition, just wonderful. The sugar maples, the oaks, the hickory, the sumac, all beautiful colors as we see those. In the Poconos, we'll spend 2 nights at a very unique and small lodge, just 94 rooms, and this is called the Shawnee Inn. It's right on a lake and a river, and they have a lot of neat activities throughout the day. And again, some more of the foliage you'll see in the Poconos. Here's a small tour that we added on. This is a great little pop-up tour, we call it. Pittsburgh and Falling Water. We did this as a mystery tour. It sold out. We did it as an encore mystery tour. It sold out. People came back just thrilled we went here. Now we're offering it as a scheduled fall foliage tour. And Pittsburgh has really cleaned up its act. It's not the town that was, kind of dirty and so on from the coal industry and its steel industry. It's really a great place to see. We'll see some great homes and castles we'll tour through. We'll learn a lot about this man in the upper right, Andrew Carnegie. He was from Scotland, and he built this town under steel, but all the steel mills have been torn down now. 2 rivers come together right here, and this is where the Monongahela and the Allegheny form the Ohio River. And we'll see many of Carnegie's libraries, Carnegie Mellon School, and the Carnegie Institute, which is like a Smithsonian Institute. And then we'll go about an hour-and-a-half drive up into the mountains to visit one of Frank Lloyd Wright's greatest residential architectures, and that is Falling Water, which has a stream running right through the house. We'll also learn about Heinz ketchup and 57 sauce, because that comes from Heinz factory in Pittsburgh. Nova Scotia and the Canadian Maritimes. I like this tour because it's so unique. You're going to the eastern part of Canada, to Prince Edward Island, New Brunswick, and Nova Scotia. And what I like about the tour is the variety and how friendly the people are. Nova Scotia means New Scotland, so we'll see bagpipers everywhere. We'll visit little seacoast villages like Peggy's Cove. We'll see lighthouses. We'll learn about House of Seven Gables. No, I'm sorry, the House of Green Gables. That's the one. And that was written by Lucy Maud Montgomery, and that's the girl there with the red pigtails. That was a story written on Prince Edward Island. And we'll visit Halifax, and we'll go on Cape Breton Island, which has a beautiful drive called the Cabot Trail, very similar to Big Sur in California. And we'll learn about the tides in the upper right. That's the Bay of Fundy. They have 35-foot tides in and out twice a day. Florida and the Keys. If you're looking for a great vacation, it's in November with wonderful weather and only 3 hotels, a leisurely pace. This is the tour for you. Now, this is not a Mickey Mouse tour in Florida. We're not going anywhere near Orlando and Disney World. This is, believe it or not, a scenic and historic tour of Florida, including an airboat ride on the Everglades. This is the Sarasota Gulf side. Again, a great resort there built by and home. It's built by John Ringling of Ringling Brothers and Barnum and Bailey Circus. We'll tour that house. And then we'll learn about 2 great inventors, and that's Thomas Edison and Henry Ford, because they were real good friends and have winter estates in Fort Myers, Florida, and we'll visit their homes. We'll also go to the Venice of America, and that is Fort Lauderdale with all its canals. And then on to Miami and Miami Beach. In the upper left is the Biltmore Estate, the Biltmore Hotel, and it has the largest swimming pool of any hotel in the United States. And then the highlight of the tour, I think, is the Going to the Sea Highway that runs all the way out to Key West. It connects Key Largo, Isla Morada, Marathon, Big Pine, and Key West. It's 120 miles long, and it's fabulous. We're going to go to make stops along the way. We'll go to a sea turtle hospital and also to an alligator farm where they feed these giant 14-foot alligators. And Key West has 2 nights, and we'll learn about a couple of interesting people there. The first is Ernest Hemingway. They always have a Ernest Hemingway look-alike contest, which you can see a picture of it there. But he spent 18 years in a house there and wrote about 60% of his books in Key West. The other man is Harry Truman, president, and he has a Southern White House down there, which he visited 14 times when he was president. A couple of international tours. First, did you know that Iceland has opened up to the U.S. Travelers now? If you can prove vaccination, they will allow you to come into their country. Many, many more countries will follow suit, I think, as our vaccination procedures get more enhanced. The Passion Play was moved from 2020 to 2022, so it'll be coming up about a year or so from now. And we have a great program there. And that includes not only the Passion Play, but also a lot of Austria and Prague and Salzburg and Vienna. And I want to finish with our European river cruises. For about 8 years now, AFC has been doing these charter cruises on these beautiful boats. And usually it's a question of not if you're going to river cruise in Europe, but when. And we're using a great line called Amadeus. I put them up against Ama Waterways, Viking, and anybody else. This is one of the brand new ships called the Imperial. It holds 168 people, all outside cabins. Their cabins are quite large, 188 square feet. You can get suites as well. They have 3 decks of cabins, beautiful rooms. You can see, again, there are no inside cabins. And they have floor-to-ceiling windows in most of the cabins. And that window actually goes up and down like your car window, so you get a view of it. And again, all your meals are included on board, and just a beautiful, beautiful ship, the Imperial. And here are the decks, and you can see there's even a top deck where they have lounge chairs and so on, and a bar. And one of the places we're going is on the Rhine River from Amsterdam to Nuremberg, and this cruise is in October, and it's 9 days total. And you'll see lots of wonderful sights there, including Bratislava and Heidelberg and all these great places. Here's some more of those places. This is Bamberg, Germany, which you'll visit on the trip. And you can also take a trip from, this one goes from Nuremberg to Budapest. It's another trip on the Danube River. And this is the most popular of all the river cruises. And you'll be doing Vienna and also Passau and Dürstein, Bratislava, all of those, Vienna. Great, great highlight tour. On the upper part of this picture is the castle at Bratislava, which is the capital of Slovakia. And then you have a great look at Budapest, the capital of Hungary. You can also combine this to a 14-day cruise, and that goes all the way from Amsterdam to Budapest on 3 rivers, the Rhine, the Main, and the Danube. We have a Christmas markets tour for this year, and that goes to Switzerland and the wonderful Christmas markets along the Rhine. Christmas markets have been going on for over 400 years in Europe, and it's really a tradition, and each town goes all out in their square with these great markets, and we visit those each of the towns we go to on this cruise. And then for 2022, we do Normandy, Paris, and the Seine River. This is if you want to see Paris, where we overnight on the boat for several nights, and then we go down the Seine River with stops, including where you'll find Normandy Beach from the World War II D-Day. Again, I just want to finish the show up by discussing these specials we're offering. We really appreciate you spending time with us here during the show. So we are offering a 2-for-1 as far as the deposit. The regular deposit on any trip is $350, and you'll only pay $175 each. And that's if you deposit a tour within the next about 10 days by April 9th. In addition, we'll give you $25 extra off per person when you book, and that's in addition to any kind of early booking discount you're getting. And also, if you buy the travel protection that we offer, if you buy that when you deposit with your credit card, we will knock another $20 off the tour. And these are the people that make your reservations: Joe Sergio and Claudia Arango, and she basically takes the group departures and group bookings, and Joe, April, and Delta take all of our regular bookings as well. And you can go on our website and make the booking. You can call us on our toll-free number, or you can email Joe and make the booking. So it's easy to do. And again, it's all about fun. You'll have a great time with AFC. You'll have very memorable experiences and the vacations of a lifetime. From all the staff at AFC, this is Randy Case signing off. I really appreciate you traveling with us and trusting us with your vacation dollar, and we hope to see you down the road. Thanks so much for attending the show. Bye-bye now.